Good morning, everyone. Jim Laird joining you live from Grand Pacifica, Nicaragua, at the main part of the resort at the restaurant called Sea Salt here. Really looking forward to getting into regular routine. I know it's been a month officially since I've been down here, which is crazy. Um, and then with the retreat, I kind of got out of my routine. So we're getting back in a routine now. I talked to a young man yesterday who was asking me about my career and what I had accomplished, what I'd done. He was just starting. He was asking for some advice, and I kind of gave him a story of what I'd gone through and some different things. And he was very curious to why I walked away from I had a very successful gym in Lexington. I had very dedicated clientele. I had a good number of people that have been with me for 20 years. I could have very easily stayed there and been very comfortable. Gracias, amigo. Thank you. I could have very easily stayed there and worked the rest of my life, made a very comfortable living. But instead, I decided to walk away from all of that, move to a country where I don't speak the language, where I don't know anyone, start basically from scratch. Obviously, I have an online business with Dr. Stillman, which allows me some wiggle room there. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So, I had spent, I talked to him about how I built my reputation over the years. And essentially, when I left Lexington, I had a waiting list. I didn't have to advertise. People would come to me. It was really an ideal situation to be in. I had a great space. The overhead was fairly low. There was a lot of pluses. I have unbelievable friends in Lexington. I miss a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I wish I could see. But, that's just not my path at the moment. And when I was first exposed to this, what had happened was I ran into some health challenges, and I ended up having a pedicure, almost had my right leg amputated, and then basically through a guy named Dr. Jack Cruz, basically he made me aware that my indoor lifestyle is what, one, made me vulnerable to having that staph infection, and two, was the reason why it was this infection was coming back every year. And so when I moved to switched to a more outdoor lifestyle, those infections quit coming back. But I realize is, as you age, it's kind of the opposite of what you've been told. As you age, you actually need more sun, right? Because your redox potential, your body's ability to regenerate itself goes down. So you actually need more energy from the sun as you age. That's why naturally a lot of people move to Florida. Rheumatoid arthritis does not exist on the equator. So I basically, at that point, when I realized how much being outside, living a more outdoor lifestyle improved my health and basically saved my life, I was like, I'm really living a farce, because, I'm literally living inside from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. I never see the sun. So I changed that. I quit my morning classes and pissed a lot of people off. But still, I was like, am I really servicing these people? Like, yes, I would talk to them about getting outside, but so here I am. I'm going out in the mornings and all these things. These people are living an indoor lifestyle. They're in front of a computer all day, and then they're coming to work out in a gym that's inside. And I would take people outside as much as I can. I would leave the doors open. I would preach them about it, but I didn't feel good about that. So that is what got me thinking, well, I need to open an outdoor gym. So I started looking in Tulum. I started looking in, this started years and years ago. I'd made my mind up, I want an outdoor gym. Well, Tulum was just out of the touch. I mean, there's no way to get reasonable real estate there. Costa Rica, places like that. I'm not a millionaire. I've done well for myself, but, I don't have that kind of money. So I looked in Mexico, Florida. I moved to the Panhandle because I wanted to move, after the beer bug stuff. We'll get into that in a minute. I started researching, and then I figured, could a retired, yes, Mr. Jim, a retired person with limited resources here could live like a millionaire here. If you have retirement income, you could live very, very easily. But we'll talk about that. There's some opportunities here that are pretty amazing. Um, you could get into a house for next to nothing. You just have to understand what you're getting yourself into. But retirement income here, you could easily live if you outright bought a place, and you can get a place here for next to nothing. Um, you could easily live like a king on less than $3,000 a month. You could live like royalty here easily. So, but there's a few things you got to understand. Um, but yes, this would be a great place for someone who's retired to live. But there's some caveats. There's some details that you need to know. So we can talk about that at some point, or I can talk about it on a show one day. We could talk about the pros and cons, but I'd be happy to talk about that. Message me. We'll talk about it sometime. We'd love to have someone like you down here. I'd love to have someone like you down here. It'd be great. So back to the topic. You got a little sidetracked. So I started looking around, and then I found this place down here about 8 years ago. And I was, driving my clients and saying, you should check this place out in Nicaragua, and at the time, 2-bedroom tiny homes for like $100,000, right? And obviously, it's a lot more expensive now with inflation and everything else, but it's still pretty reasonable. But that the wheels were turning, and then when the beer bug hit, and Kentucky locked down, and I was getting kicked off social media for telling people to go outside, and people were calling me a murderer and all these other things on social media, and I lost, I'm still in Instagram jail for telling the truth. All the truth's coming out now, and it's just crazy. Like, people lost all common sense and all reality. The propaganda and the brainwashing was nuts. And I said to myself, I was like, I don't want to live in a state or a country that will end up locking itself down over something like this. And Nicaragua and Mexico, surprisingly, were the only countries in this area that didn't completely lock down. Down here, there was no mandatory clot shots or anything like that. So that was a huge plus. And then in Kentucky, there was rumblings of, if you're a business owner, you have to have the shot in order to have a business. And when they started talking about that, I was like, you know what? I'm out. So when I got through COVID, I got the gym rolling, and then I started the wheels on getting out because I wanted to move to Florida. And then I moved to Florida. I started training people at a gym there. And then I started working with Dr. Stillman. Then I got an accident, which kind of forced my hand on the virtual stuff. And now, here I am in Nicaragua, and we're getting ready to start working on the gym. So I'm going to have some announcements here in the next couple days, actually, hopefully in the next week or so. We're going to start selling some things and doing some things to raise money for the gym. The crazy thing is just how it's not going to cost very much to build a gym on the beach here. It's going to be crazy, and the deal I've worked out is very beneficial to both parties, and so I'm really excited about it. And I bought the domain name of what I named the gym, and I didn't name it after myself this time, which is wise. Actually, I talked to that kid about that, yesterday. I was like, don't name the gym after yourself. It does help in some ways, but in other ways it's bad because then they want to work with the person whose name is on the gym, and then it makes it very difficult to sell it, right? So, yeah. So, pretty cool name. We're working on logos and all that stuff right now. Working with partnering with a couple of different charities so that when I raise money for the gym through crowdfunding and through selling t-shirts and mugs and things like that, we'll be able to help some of the local charities here. And one of the cool things about the charities here is, like, you give $1 and it goes like in the US, a lot of the charities, the money gets eaten up by like administration costs. Not here. The local dog shelter here is named Nika Love. It's like a dog rescue. You give them $20 and it like feeds like 10 dogs for like a month. It's crazy. It's awesome. So there's just so many people you can help here and so many things you can do. And I'm really excited about being here, and I'm excited about talking to you about it more. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, but the reason I'm here, instead of it I'm almost 50. I'm 48. I turned 49 here in a couple months. Instead of just living a comfort, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go out with Blaze. I really honestly 100% wholeheartedly believe that humans need to live a more authentic existence, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is and live an authentic life. I do my podcast outside. I work outside. I spend 90% of my day outside, in the shade. Granted, I'm not baking in the heat all day, but you know, I want to have a facility where I can train people and I'm outside the whole time. I'm not inside baking under fake lights. And I'll tell you what, man, the we're gonna have a giant palapa is gonna be the ceiling, which is one of those like grass roof things. It could be, 97 degrees in the heat of the afternoon. You're here on the beach under one of those palapas in the shade with a breeze. It's really nice. I mean, it's really, really good. So I'm really excited about that. This place is so awesome. It's so pretty. It has so much potential. Um, oh, gracias, amigo. See, so excellent. Thank you so much. So, and the food here is absolutely awesome. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a more of a traditional breakfast here of scrambled eggs, a little bit of beans and rice, some salsa, and some fried plantains and fried cheese. They will fry cheese here, which is very, very interesting. But, another one of the reasons I'm here too is there's a great opportunity here. I talked to a guy who's been down here for 19 years or 16 years from Canada. He's farming here. There's an incredible opportunity here to build sustainable. The government pretty much stays out of your way as long as you don't take jobs from Nicaraguans. There's lots of opportunity here to build sustainable farming, to build networks and communities with local farmers. Gracias. Excellent. There's plenty of opportunities to build those kind of networks here, which it's much more difficult in the United States. If you look at what's happening to the Amish right now, they're getting raided. I mean, it's just like, nobody's gonna raid you here because you're like raising chickens and stuff. Like nobody's gonna. The only time you're gonna get in trouble here is if you like get into politics. But like if you're minding your own business, like nobody's gonna get in your face because you believe there's a difference between men and women. Common sense stuff. You mind your own business here. They're gonna leave you alone. And whereas in the United States, if you try to be strong, independent, and grow your own food and stuff, it's going to cause a problem. Here, they'll leave you alone for the most part. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to build a network with a lot of these local folks. Like I can give a local farmer here a little bit, like $20 extra a month, $30 extra a month to buy more chickens, to buy more cows, to help them expand their operation. And then make deals where I get food as part of that, right? There's great opportunities for regenerative agriculture here. You can grow stuff here if you know what you're doing. Plenty of fish available. I mean, I got that ocean right out there. I need to buy a big surf casting rod and start fishing on a regular basis. So there's just so many opportunities here to live a humble, more sustainable life. My whole tiny house is pretty much off the grid, sustainable. We've got our own well, our own aquifer. The solar panels are great. I haven't had any issues with them. Decent EMF reading. We had to move some things around and make some adjustments, but the EMF is pretty reasonable. And so it's pretty wild. It's pretty interesting being here, and the way of life, the culture is just so laid back. So that's the main reason I walked away from a very, very successful business that I could have easily do. Is I want to set an example of what I believe is the most authentic way to live as a human, which is a more outdoor lifestyle. And I wanted to practice what I preach, so to speak. And and live a more outdoor life than make more money and live a comfortable, easy life. So that's just me. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I'm doing. So we're starting over from scratch at almost 50 years of age in a new community where I don't speak the language. And people have been great so far. I've met a lot of people here. There's got to be a lot of challenges, but I'm looking forward to taking those on head on. We're going to be able to help a lot of local people here, help a lot of the expats that are here too. I'm really excited about it. And pretty cool, So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. This week, we're going to be doing our weekly webinar, our lesson, so to speak. That's Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be on gut health secrets. It's part of our Fundamentals of Wellness Masterclass. Get on our email list, stillmanwellness.com. Get on the email list. That way, we're going to send an email out to remind you about that, so that you basically can get on and watch, and you'll have access to the replay. And of course, if you're part of the Fundamentals of Wellness Masterclass coaching group, you get these new webinars or lessons every week. So it's a way for us to reward you for being on our email list. So have yourself a great day. I look forward to getting back in a rhythm. I'm going to have some guests on here shortly, so we can get some different topics and content going. And appreciate the questions. Thank you, Jim, for the question. Feel free to reach out to me and we'll talk. Have yourself a wonderful day. Don't forget to get outside.